I've been born and raised in Prior Lake, and I swum through some of the algae bloom. And, back then we didn't know any difference. Just a little green hair, and you get out and take a shower, and that was it.
The community rallies around their lakes, and I think that's why back in 1970, some pretty smart people said, we got to start taking care of this for the long haul.
Lake residents were concerned with the high fluctuation of the water levels on Prior Lake. And so then I started digging through records of Prior Lake that would show the high water and the low water in 1905 up to, I think that's 1960s. And it showed a fluctuation in water level of over 20 feet. Everyone knew that if you got a landlocked basin, you got to get the excess water out of the basin.
That water level would fluctuate, and it just made for a lot of damage on the lakeshore. A lot of erosion. That's not good for the fishery. It's not good for real estate. It's not good for the community.
We got a hold of an attorney and discussed with him and looked at all the possibilities. It was in quite a few years, contacting the county board if the county could do anything. And the project was getting larger and larger.
We need one body to come in here and address the problem. That's what watershed districts do best.
So we petitioned for the authority to form a watershed district and see how we could fund a project like this, an outlet to Prior Lake that everyone can live with.
A watershed district is formed so that it can take care of the water quality and quantity issues over the watershed area. It pays no attention to any kind of a county boundary or a city boundary, anything.
It doesn't quit flooding just because that's the county line.
We all live in a watershed of some size or scale, and
definition of a watershed would be the land area that is surrounding the lake that ultimately drains to it.
It could be a suburb, it could be a part of a city, it includes agricultural areas. So think about all these lawns. Think about all of these agricultural fields that are putting pesticides and herbicides down. And all of a sudden, we have a little rain coming. It's raining. And all of these pollutants are going to end up in that lake.
We are the agency that's charged with receiving a citizen petition, say, to create a new watershed district. So we, the Board of Water and Soil Resources, we create them following a public hearing process and deliberation on whether or not this is an area and a purpose for which a watershed district is well suited.
Good afternoon, Watershed District.
The watershed district was formed. The county board appoints the members on the board, which are 5 members. The members have taxing power, but are not elected, and that's unique.
But even though they're assigned as a county representative, they are encouraged to look at the watershed as a whole. Now, sometimes you have to do things upstream in order to control the flooding downstream.
Under watershed, people seem to come together. You find out how to find compromises and what to do to try to achieve that goal.
You have standards, you have enforcement mechanisms, but what you try to do is work collaboratively with the other units of government. So in fact, you're all working together and pulling the same way.
This is a form of local government, and so you find local governments tailoring it to their particular community's needs. And there's plenty of times where some of these watershed districts are ahead of where the state agencies are with their capabilities.
Maintaining the environment of Prior Lake has turned into a lot bigger job than most people realize. It's a lot beyond the outlet.
there's a weir inside that's like an accordion shape. It allows enough water to get over and maximize the pipe flow.
This is what the Watershed District calls the Highway 13 wetland. This is the main input of water from the south end of from the headwaters area into Spring Lake, and that allows us to treat water for phosphorus removal before it enters Spring Lake.
I think one of our difficulties is carp. They stir up the bottom, and then it releases all this phosphorus in the low shallow portions. Algae bloom is created by the excess phosphorus in the lake. And if we measure the phosphorus level coming into Prior Lake, it's real high. If we can try to slow the flow of water, infiltrate into the ground, and that will remove the phosphorus.
We were considering replacing a new street sweeper. We approached the Watershed District with a proposal. We wanted to upgrade to new technology, and we asked them to help, share in the increased cost.
We helped the city pay to sweep more additional times. We like to get these urban runoff ponds a lot larger so that they can take a longer time filtering. The thing is, you can do with the rain gutters. We have the rain barrel that you collect the water off the downspouts of your house and then drain it off slowly. Everyone taking a note and looking at it and say, what can I do? I just run garden hoses to the different spots, take care of my wife's watering the flowers.
So again, good book to refer to, but you'll see there's a step-by-step there on the inside front cover.
This is a Blue Thumb rain garden design class. All of these residents came several weeks ago to an introductory class and learned about rain gardens and native lakeshore restoration, and were interested enough that they want to now put a rain garden on their property. We are going and getting state grants. We're working with the city as they reconstruct streets to put in these retrofit rain gardens, and then we're working with landowners to do improvements on their own.
You hear a lot of implementation of rain gardens, which are depressions placed in the most efficient locations so the water can pond in there and slowly seep away to filter through the soils. Keep people a lot more aware of what they're doing, and it is the little bitty things that everyone does.
It's the Jeffers Pond Environmental Festival. The students are all throughout the whole school grounds, and they'll be doing 3 specific tests. One a visual erosion inspection, and one velocity of the outlet channel here behind us, and then third one is turbidity testing.
Education and the education of the children. I'm a firm believer if you get them and believe in what can happen, because they believe in you can do a little bit and then these little bits add up. So we have educational programs that we sponsor or that help support with the school, send kids to environmental camps and so forth. We're starting to see the payback on that. You get the kids interested in keeping it clean, their parents get interested in keeping it clean. I think this is one of the greatest places to raise kids. I was fortunate raising 7 kids in here, and I always tell them it's the water.